Welcome to the Instagram stories for Thursday, August 17th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. First, I want to start by saying thank you so much if you sent me a message of support about me getting laid off. I really found that incredibly encouraging, so thank you to everyone who took the time to send me a message. I do not know what my next move is. Still looking to figure that out. Might take me a little bit, but that's my goal. Figure out what is next. But again, thank you so much for the encouragement. Today on the episode, we are going to do some Twitter news, also X. We are going to do X/Twitter news, and then we will do some Instagram news after the break. First, let's talk about the Twitter news. The Washington Post is reporting that X is throttling traffic to websites that Elon Musk dislikes. According to an analysis done by the Washington Post, there was a 5-second delay that was added when a user clicked on a shortened link to the New York Times, Facebook, and other sites that Elon Musk commonly attacks. So here's how this would work. If a user clicked on just a regular link, they would go there instantly. But if they clicked on a link from Twitter that went to Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Substack, Reuters, and the New York Times, they would have to wait an additional 5 seconds for that page to load. Interestingly, after the Washington Post first published this story noting the delay, X began reversing the throttling on some of the sites, dropping the delay times back to 0. Here's how this worked. All of links on Twitter or X go through the t.co domain. This is a link shortening service that X uses to process every link posted to the site. Traffic is routed through that t.co domain, and it allows X to track, or in this specific case, throttle activity to the intended target website. This would potentially take away traffic and ad revenue from the businesses that Elon Musk personally dislikes, because if somebody clicks that link and it takes an extra 5 seconds to load the page, they might just close the window and walk away and move on with their lives or go get that news or information from another site entirely. This seems to have been reversed once the Washington Post pointed it out, so I guess no big deal in the end, but this is definitely a shady practice that I don't like. In other news, the Washington Post is reporting that Elon Musk is now requiring users of X to pay for access to TweetDeck. Are you familiar with TweetDeck? It is a phenomenal way to use Twitter, and in fact, I would say probably the best thing about Twitter, in my opinion, is TweetDeck. It gives you columns that you can track conversations or hashtags or whatever you want, really. And you can track things based on a variety of different criteria, for instance, location, and you can scroll across and see all these columns at once so you can focus on what you're most interested in and only see it at that time, but then you can scroll over and look at some other columns and different things that you're tracking. Absolutely great application. It's been around for over 12 years, I would say, because I definitely started using TweetDeck in like 2011 or 2012. However, the Washington Post is reporting that users were surprised on Tuesday when they went to sign into TweetDeck and were directed to sign up for X Premium, which, among other things, gives the blue check mark for users who pay a fee of $8 per month. The Washington Post did give the context that Twitter acquired TweetDeck for $40 million back in 2011, but had done very little to develop it in recent years. Twitter briefly tested a new version of TweetDeck in 2021, but it was never rolled out publicly, and actually Twitter shut down TweetDeck's Mac version. Of course, Elon's goal is to get as many people as possible to pay for Twitter or X Premium for that $8 a month. So it does make sense, but TweetDeck was a great tool, and I don't like hiding things behind extra monthly subscriptions for something that users are used to using. You can check out links to both of those stories in the show notes, and when we come back after the break, we're going to get into some Instagram news, so be sure to stay tuned.
This episode is brought to you by Michigan Economic Development Corporation. In Michigan, you can have both a rewarding career and a quality lifestyle, with plentiful career opportunities in world-changing, innovating industries, from electric vehicles to clean energy to biotech, with room for advancement no matter where you are in your career. Plus, Michigan offers a welcoming, beautiful, affordable, and inclusive community for all. Live your best life. You can in Michigan. Visit themichiganlife.org.
And we're back. Okay, let's get into the Instagram news. Twitter user Barry Hott tweeted a screenshot of something that is very interesting to me. It's an Instagram Reel ad where it says you might like sponsored. And then instead of having one ad, it actually has 4 ads in a split screen mode for Instagram Reels. As you know, I don't like ads, and this seems like a play for Meta to try to figure out how to get more ads in front of users. So obviously I'm not a fan of it, but for the novelty factor, I think looking at 4 things at the same time is kind of an easier way to digest a bunch of ads quickly. So that might potentially be a good thing. Here's the quote from Instagram, quote, multi-advertiser ads help people discover and compare products from multiple businesses. This ad unit, available for select placement on Facebook and Instagram, gives advertisers the opportunity to be discovered by people who have recently shown an interest in related products or businesses, end quote. In other news, Adam Mosseri posted some things in his broadcast channel that Instagram is working on. He mentions that they are working on another music-related feature. They previously mentioned testing the ability to add lyrics to your reels, just like stories. They're now bringing that test to more countries. And so they're looking forward to seeing how people get creative with music on reels. He also posted in his broadcast channel that they haven't started testing anything publicly yet, but they're working on the ability to create audio notes to share with your friends. Now let's just give a little bit of context there. Right now, you can send a voice note in a direct message to one specific person or a group of people if you have a group DM going. However, if you want to use the notes feature on Instagram, you can write a little message, you can add a song, but you can't use that notes feature to send a specific audio clip, for instance, of you talking to all your followers. With this potential test, the ability to create audio notes to share with your friends, you could do that. I'm not really sold if that's a feature that anybody needs, but I like the concept. In a very similar vein, reverse engineering hacker Alessandro Paluzzi tweeted that Threads is working on voice posts. So you could, similar to a voice note on Instagram, add a voice post to your threads. I don't know that that's something anybody specifically needs either, but who's to say? It's nice to have these options of different ways of communicating. However, I will say that there needs to be a way to, if you have one audio recording of your voice, to post it to everywhere. If you have to re-record it individually inside every app, what a waste of time. Let's not do that. Okay, that is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to come back next time for more Instagram news, Twitter news, social media things you should know about, and other important stuff that you need to know.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave, without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.